Won't cancel my internet unless you're unable to provide service? Okay. So, when I was living in the city, I had a contract with my internet provider, Rogers. For my fellow Canadians, after a year in my apartment, I decided to move in with my then boyfriend, now husband, on a farm on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. So I called to cancel my internet. Me. I need to cancel. I'm moving. Them. Interrupting me. Your service moves with you. You signed a contract for X years and it only ends early if we are unable to provide service. Me. You are unable to provide service. I'm moving to a rural area. Them. Not possible. We provide service to many rural communities. What's your new postal code? I provide it. That's for town name. We have service in town name. Me. But I'm not living in town name. That's just my postal address. I am living on a farm outside of town name. Them. Repeats contract speech, with the additional offer of an absurd buyout fee if I want to cancel my contract early, without cause. Cue malicious compliance. Me. Fine. You know what? I would love high-speed internet instead of shitty satellite internet. When can you come? The install guy had to call me 3 times from the van. Twice because he was lost and a third time because he was stuck in a snowdrift. When he finally arrived, it took him about 30 seconds to determine that there is obviously no infrastructure for high-speed internet. I offered him hot coffee for his trouble coming out and he happily canceled my service free of charge and accepted my equipment return. Cost Rogers a 3 to 4 hour call out when you count the drive. Just to try to keep one impossible contract. Edit to add. Wow. This went a little crazy overnight. Thanks for all the upvotes and awards everyone. I had a similar conversation with my internet provider when I was moving. Until I cut them off and told them, yeah. Well, I'm moving to Bucharest, Romania. You provide service there? Quote. Okay, sir. Your final day of service will be June 16th. When I lived in Ottawa, an internet company named FiberStream offered my building select plans. It was like $40 for unlimited bandwidth and 100 MB/s or something like that. I was paying Rogers like $60 for 300 GB and 30 MB/s. I called up, said, listen, I got this offer. Match it, or I'm leaving. Their retention offers were legit laughable. One was like $90 for unlimited at 20 MB/s. I genuinely couldn't believe it. They wouldn't let me cancel officially without my wife, as she was on it too. So when she calls and cancels, you know what the Rogers CSR said? You'll be back. We made an absolute point to not support Rogers after that. They will get my business only if I have 0 other choices. We had something very similar with Sky in the UK. We'd like to cancel as we're moving. Single quote. Sorry, sir, but we can't do that as your service moves with you and you've got 9 months left on this contract. It'll be pound if you want to cancel. You don't work where we're moving to though. We do all the UK. Aw yeah, but you see we're moving to the Isle of Man and you don't there. Aw yes. You're right there, sir. We will go ahead and cancel that contract for you as we don't provide a service to the Isle of Man. I had the same issue with Rogers Mobility. Moved to a town where their cell service was horrible. But Telus is half decent. After 45 minutes to an hour of being bounced up the ladder, I get to someone that would make a decision. This postal code you've given me makes it look like you're in the middle of the woods. An hour tower is on the other side of a mountain from you? Quote. Yes. Because that's where I live. When I moved last year, I had the opposite experience with Comcast. I told them I'm moving told them all the neighbors has their service and wanted my service to move. But they didn't even have record of my address as no one had ever had their service there before. They had to send texts out multiple times just to verify they could give me service. 2 stories about Rogers. We moved to the territories and they agreed to cancel service, but continued to charge us for months every time, requiring a call to fix it. Second, my dad worked for Rogers and his work van was parked in our driveway. More than once we had people at our door to complain or ask for help. They really are the worst, terrible employer. 2. SMH. My relationship with Rogers unfortunately has been a hit and miss. Back in 2013, my boyfriend of 4 years was on my Rogers account. Unfortunately, he passed away suddenly due to a heart attack in his sleep. You can imagine the pain and distress I'm going through. I managed to get enough strength to call Rogers, requesting cancellation of his line. The representative proceeded to tell me how much it was going to cost to cancel his line. I took a deep breath and told him that the person whom the line was being used by is dead. Rep didn't even flinch and proceeded to repeat the same speech about cancellation. At this point I'm just angry. I request to speak to a supervisor. One comes on the line after however long. I explain the situation to her. And guess what? She proceeds to say the same shit. At this point I'm just crying angry tears. I request to cancel everything I have with them, which at the time, being a uni student, wasn't much. I found their corporate head office number and email. Sent them a long email regarding my experience. Within a week, someone reached out, apologized for the prior people's insensitivity, offered up condolences, canceled my boyfriend's line and proceeded to provide my remaining services, which I believe was my cell phone and internet. 6 months of free service. I've remained with them since. Of course I still have to deal with the occasional idiotic rep here and there. But once I get through to management, I end up with what I want. I took a 15-year-long bumming from it&T on my mobile account. When I moved to the mountains I called to cancel since Verizon is the only game in town here. I was like an hour on the phone with multiple people trying to all upsell me Wi-Fi or internet or anything else at all. You don't serve this area for what I need. We done here. Anytime I need to cancel service I either tell them I'll be homeless next week or that I'll be going to prison next week. So far it's worked every time. That reminds me of when I moved over a decade ago into a new apartment. The cable company I was using insisted I shouldn't cancel my service. In their defense, it was just down the street. The wiring in the building was bad. It was so bad you could not get regular cable television to display. Forget internet. Building owner refused to allow people to fix the wiring because it'd have required them to punch holes in the walls. Town ordinance refused to allow anyone to have externally visible wiring. Totally unconvinced, cable company sent a technician who noticed the same obvious impossible to solve problem I did, and cancelled my service. I worked for Rogers and had a customer with this issue. I cancelled their service. Boy did I get in trouble. Worth it. Had the same problem with AT&T in the US when I moved with my now husband. Called to cancel my service as we were moving in together. And they didn't cover where our new house was. They had to send out a technician who promptly said, "We don't service this area." No. Really? Call center reps have to do everything in their power to prevent a cancellation. Otherwise it counts as a negative metric for them. So that's what they were probably doing. Trying to keep a disconnect from their metrics. Technicians have no such metrics. Their job is to install and provide good customer service on site. He did his job. LPT. When services refuse to cancel service, tell them you're going to prison. They'll stop asking questions and cancel service immediately. I canceled our household internet 2 months ago. It took a few phone calls, and ended up with a representative crying and another representative giving me the what for. I read my bill one day, and decided to call in to add my husband to my account. It was supposed to be a simple transaction. Would have taken 5 minutes. However, before the representative came on the line, an automated message came on saying that our router wasn't going to work after a week. The company provided router that we paid extortion rates for was going to stop working in a week. I hung up and checked out my cellular plan. I reread my internet bill and made a snap decision. Going with my cellular provider would save us $500 US per year. Okie dokie. I called the ISP back, and again worked my way through their automated system. When I got to a rep, I asked to cancel my service. She asked why we were leaving them. I told the truth. I said, "Your service isn't worth the $1,250 per year that I'm currently paying. We have outages daily when the internet doesn't work at all." Then there was the automated message that my router that I rent from you is getting retired, and all internet service will be stopped unless I buy a new router. Then the fact that in March my internet bill will go up to over $1,800 per year. I did not yell. I spoke quietly and clearly. She started crying and set up the disconnection. The skullduggery happened when I went to turn in the equipment. That same router box that didn't work anymore by that time would have cost over $350 on top of the cost of the money already spent renting it for the time we had service with this company. The person behind the counter asked why I was disconnecting, and demanded to know who my new provider was. I told the truth. I said my cellular provider. She then proceeded to rant and rave about how evil my cellular provider is, and how much overages are, and all kinds of chuckle-worthy things. I got a signed receipt for their router, and have it safe in my desk. The final bill came, and was paid off. The gimme on this? My cellular provider hasn't had a glitch at all since, and my bill didn't go up as much as I thought I would. Good riddance to bad rubbish. I had a phone with Rogers and decided to cancel that service and go on my mom's. They didn't in. Texted promotional texts for years. I didn't notice because it was being sent to our accountant. They charged over $8,000 in promotional texts, and when we found out and tried to get the money back, they offered us $150 back. To say that we were pissed was an understatement. Then years later, my mom's condo had a deal with Rogers to provide cable TV. She returned one DVR and decided to only have one. We handed it into the store, who lost it and then charged her for a DVR for years as well. I don't even know how much in fraudulent charges we've paid. I cannot stand them and am very vocal about how much I hate them. So I feel your pain. I was that tech once. Got called out to the far end of a rural road in a developing part of the county. Went from pavement to dirt to gravel to dirt again. I saw the electricity poles end about 1/4 way down that road. Just like yours. Somebody was insistent on offering them service. One call later, their address is marked as not serviceable, and I trotted off with an ice-cold water bottle and Gatorade. You gotta do what you gotta do. Thank you for being nice to the tech who got sent out there. We just get a list of addresses and figure it out as we go. Got a similar story. Different country. But I did actually move to a zone where they had service. The issue, you ask? They didn't send the tech. 3% $ing times. So for about 3 weeks I had no service. Cherry on top? They still charged me and refused to refund because the service was still working at the prior location. Filed a complaint with regulatory authority. Funny thing. When got to the meeting. Legal requirement. The ISP's lawyer didn't let me speak. She just called her company a bunch of incompetent idiots. Gave me 2 months for free and 50% for the rest of the year. I bursted out telling her, "You cheated on me. I was coming for a fight." Quote. Rogers can get bent. Good on you for being nice to the service guy though. Had a similar thing, but instead of coming out and canceling the fee, they just argued that 'cause it was not their fault, they don't provide service there, I'd have to pay for the cancellation fee. The commercials advertising this promise? Didn't matter. Previously recorded guarantee from other customer service employees? Didn't matter. I literally had to dig up my contract and cite the page, paragraph, and subsection and say word per word before they'd cancel the fee. Even then, the employee acted put out, like it was coming out of their pocket. Like, dude, WTF?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.